When the dust settles, there will be opportunities. Maybe it's stocks selling at single digit price to earnings ratios, paying a 7% dividend. Maybe it's that real estate that we've always wanted that's selling for pennies on the dollar.
Hello, Robert Kiyosaki. Welcome to Rich Dad's World. And today we have a very special guest, as all our guests are. But I want to apologize for my outfit right now. I just got in from the gym, but it's a way of plugging what Rich World does or promoting them. My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach. You know what I mean? And so my coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever is important. My rich dad was one of those persons. I wanted to learn how to play Monopoly in real life. So he was my coach. And when I came back from Vietnam, my poor dad says, go to school, get your PhD. And I said, I hated school. Why would I do that? And my rich dad very simply said to me, he says, then go take your real estate, not a real estate license. There's a difference. He says, learn real estate. And then because what you're learning is debt. So my rich dad was my coach. So I learned to play Monopoly in real life. And today I'm $1.2 billion in debt. I'm very happy with it. So that's my way of saying, if it's important to you, hire a coach. So I guess today is very impressed with them because if you read my story, is I became a silver bug in 1964. I was 17 years old, and I held up a dime. I said, why is this dad copper? Why is this thing copper all of a sudden? And then I held up a quarter. It was copper also. Then a $50, I think, was copper also. So I'm going, what the heck's going on? And the greenback, instead of saying silver certificate, said Federal Reserve note. So I'm only 17 years old, but I knew something was fishy. And that kind of twigged my mind ever since then as to what is really going on. And so it became my study. And I found out about Gresham's law. Gresham's law states that when fake money comes into the system, real money goes into hiding. But it was intuitive. Nobody told me that. I just kind of knew that fake money is not good. So I used to caddy to make money, and I would go to the bank, take my dollar bills, and I'd buy rolls of dimes and quarters. And I'd go through the dimes and quarters looking for the copper ones. And I gave it back to the bank, and I kept the real silver ones. And so by the time I left for school in 1964, by the time I left for school in 1965 in New York, I had a whole bag of what they call is dirty silver, but it was real silver. And of course, the problem with poor people is they don't know the difference between fake money and real money, which is why I wrote this book here, Fake. We have so much fake today. So I came back from school in New York, and my mother and father, poor dad, they're poor people. I mean, highly educated poor people. And my mother spent my dimes and quarters. She didn't know what she was spending. And she goes, well, So today, our special guest today is Andy Schectman. And he is a wealth of knowledge, and is why you should be into gold and silver, because as you know, most of the world today is fake news, fake money, fake everything. So welcome to the program, Andy.
Great to be back, Robert. It was good to see you again.
And I always say the definition of intelligent is, if you agree with me, you're intelligent. Andy is very intelligent. In fact, he's more knowledgeable about the subject of real gold and real silver and fake money than anybody I know. So, Andy, would you mind giving us a little bit of your background as to Miles Franklin and what you guys do? How'd you get into this business?
Sure. My father and I started the company together, Robert, 33 years ago. We have been fortunate enough to do over 7 billion in sales. We've never had a customer complaint ever. We're one of only 27 U.S. Mint authorized resellers in the world. We are licensed and bonded in what is a federally non-regulated industry, the state of Minnesota, where our corporate office is located. Securing wealth is through precious metals. And I say it that way because I don't look at gold and silver as an investment, Robert. I never have. I look at it as wealth, wealth that has outlived two world wars, German hyperinflation, the Great Depression, every pandemic, and is still immutable wealth that truly I hope I never need to use. And if I do, I'm darn glad I have it, whether it be for an emergency, as most people think about owning gold and silver for, or perhaps an opportunity. I think maybe you would look at when the dust settles, there will be opportunities. Maybe it's stocks selling at single digit price to earnings ratios, paying a 7% dividend. Maybe it's that real estate that we've always wanted that's selling for pennies on the dollar. Whatever it is, I know it's there if I need it. And if not, I pass it on to my children. And I feel comfortable in creating and leaving a legacy for my family that I know that long after the dollar bills in our wallet are hanging from a frame in the Smithsonian, that uh, gold and silver will still be immutable wealth.
I've been in gold since 1971 when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. The price of gold is the same throughout the world. And that was when I became a silver bug at first. And by 72, I was a gold bug.
But what you just said, Robert, is something I don't really know if people understand the significance of it. And it's something that I have harped on for decades now. And that is simply that gold is universal, silver is universal. It doesn't have to be, there can be a language barrier. Gold will break through the language barrier. Gold and silver is wealth. It's not an investment, at least it's not to me. And I think that's the best way to look at it. And I think the people going all the way back to the beginning of time who had wealth, kings and queens and pharaohs and emperors and you name it. I mean, they didn't buy gold from their gold dealer. They owned it as a form of immutable wealth that is able to be passed on throughout the centuries. And that is how I look at it. And I think to this day, the wealthiest people and the wealthiest central banks and the wealthiest, most powerful people in the world understand that is the role of gold and silver. And as Dr. Franz Pick once said, all paper currencies or all fiat currencies inherently are meant to die. So you look at gold and silver as wealth and money, it has outlived everything and it is still here, while every paper currency before us, it is in history.
Are you getting richer or poorer? Because right now, the rich are getting richer while everyone else falls behind. Why? Fake money. The government prints trillions of dollars, inflating your savings while the rich move their wealth into gold and silver. Gold is surging, silver is skyrocketing, the smart money isn't waiting, they're getting out of dollars before the next crash. And here's what most people don't know. You can legally move your IRA or 401k into gold and silver, 100% tax and penalty free, with my friends at Priority Gold. This is how the rich shield themselves. They don't save fake dollars, they save real money. So don't wait. Get Priority Gold's free wealth defense guide now and see how to move your savings into something real. Text GOLD to 24999 or go to PriorityGold.com right now. Text GOLD 24999 or visit PriorityGold.com and get your free, no obligation wealth defense guide. Because waiting makes you poorer, taking action makes you rich.
Wait. Gotta let people catch on to what you're saying here. The bigger point here is this, okay? I just make it simple. Gold and silver are God's money. God placed it here. And fake money is fake money, fiat money. And it's fake. That happened in 1972. And as most of us know, is what forced the issue was the government of France. Charles de Gaulle, I think, were one of those guys, sent warships to America to pick up their gold. And the reason was America was printing so much money, and they still are, they're printing as much as they can. So America today, I believe, is the largest debtor nation in the world. And they're printing, I think they printed more money in the last 10 years than they did the last 30 years. And people are still saving money. There's a lot of fake silver. I mean, I don't take ETFs. I don't have golds, GLD, which is I have no paper. I've never trusted paper since Vietnam. And so GLD is a gold ETF, and SLV is a silver ETF. I never touched it. So let me just say this. Okay, why again? It used to be $50 an ounce for silver when the Hunt brothers were trying to corner the market. I mean, I'm that old. I've been in 64 and 71. I've been in gold. So 64 to 71, I've watched it. I've played it. I've done it. I have literally tons of gold and silver. I own gold mines and silver mines. And I don't play with paper. Why? What is it with people's psyche? Miles Franklin, can deliver. And I talked to my friends and no, I think I'll wait for it to hit 500 an ounce silver. Why are people that stupid, Andy?
It's the same reason so few people are ever successful in investing, Robert. They wait until it's been validated by price, and I think the only way to truly succeed is to buy when the price is low. And what's most intriguing about silver is that its fundamentals couldn't be stronger. If people were to look under the hood instead of just looking at the price and realize that this is a commodity that has duality in demand, both industrial and monetary. This is a commodity that's coming out of the ground at a ratio to gold of 7 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold, yet is priced at 90 to 1. This is an asset that is depleting in nature because for 5,000 years, its ratio was 16 to 1 to gold. Now it's 7 to 1. In every respect, it's the most undervalued commodity and or investment.
So let me just say it, let me make it really simple, okay? Gold is hoarded. It's not really used that much.
That's right.
So most of the gold has been, I've been through the Andes in Peru, and I've seen the gold mines the Incas were driving, because I was buying a gold mine up in the Andes. This is in 96, I think. I was looking up there. I said, geez, for 1,000 years, the Incas were digging for gold. And then I went looking for a gold mine in Mongolia. There's a place called the Checkerboard. And the Mongolians were digging for gold. And the thing is, the gold that they dug up is still around. But silver is depleting because it's an industrial as well as a precious metal. So what are some of the things it's used in? What is silver used? Why is the demand for silver going up as an industrial metal?
Well, of course, in a green and digital world, anything that conducts electricity or electronic solar panels, battery-powered vehicles, iPhones, iPads, flat-screen TVs, just about anything that conducts electricity has a modicum of silver in it. And so whether you're talking a simple light switch to a motherboard that has 1/5 of an ounce of silver in it to run a computer, it all has silver in it. And to your point, because it's used in such tiny amounts, most of it isn't recycled. Even the gold that is used in industrial applications, it's so valuable, it makes sense to recycle it. And so you could argue that all of the silver that has been used in industry in the last 80 years, the majority of it is in landfills somewhere. And so it's an asset that is depleting in nature. And so it represents a very unusual situation. And really the truth of it is that you have a handful of commercial banks on the commodity exchanges that are suppressing the price. When you talk about what's happening in terms of retail demand at the same time, to me, what is really different is that you have a whole world that is awash in inflation and anxiety of war and geopolitical issues. And, as you said earlier, in the last 4 years, the US has printed more money than in the history of the country before it.
Rich dad, poor dad, what savers are losers. And the debt's going like this. Now inflation is going like this. And inflation leads to instability. That's my concern. And I said, and So I posed, I said, silver will probably go between, I expect it to go to 100 to 500 in 5 years. And this idiot friend of mine says, I'll just wait 5 years then. I want you to prove it's going to go up. I said, but look at, as you said the word earlier, the fundamentals, as you know, it's being consumed, it's being burned up. And, Tesla, God bless them, they're burning silver. Every TV says burning silver and it disappears. It stays out of circulation. And what my friend says, Andy, get this, I'd rather have bonds. I'm going, are you kidding me? Because, as interest rates on bonds go up, his bonds get less valuable. I just can't believe the psychology of it. So my question, there's more than this, is like I've dug for gold and silver all over the world, in Argentina and everything. I sold my silver mine to Yamana, with a good profit on that one. But I don't sell silver. I sell the mine, but I won't sell the silver. And I like oil because they can't print oil. So I would say I like anything the Fed cannot print, because anything the Fed can print is fake.
But I haven't seen this event coming, where there is a realization, an awakening by the public that, my gosh, it's time to think outside the box, to start thinking in a way that your rich father taught you to think, not so much by the book, but outside the box, and think about money differently.
Why are these idiots still hanging on to bonds and stocks? That's why I
They
wrote this
don't know.
book again
That's
in
the problem.
2013 here. 2013, I said this was coming. And people still hang on. And also, I put my money where my mouth is. This is my gold mine here. The Trixie Gold Mine is the richest gold mine in the history of America. And I like it because it's in Utah. My last gold mine was in China, the biggest gold mine in China. I took it public on the Toronto Stock Exchange. And as soon as we struck gold, Chinese said, thank you very much.
He who owns the gold makes the rules.
Amen.
It's coming. It's coming. And
It's the golden rule. It's the golden rule.
We are entering a period of time where people need to realize that holding dollars, holding bonds entirely, being fully invested in US-based assets is the key to becoming insolvent. Is if you are not a contrarian, you're going to go broke. If you hold everything in dollars, you are destined to go broke based upon the macro trends that are happening, whether it be by the hand of our Federal Reserve, who, if they continue to raise rates, will blow everything up. If they pivot and start to print money again, they will signal hyperinflation. There's going to be a moment where the rubber has to meet the road. We have lived long past our right to, I believe, control the world reserve currency based upon the mismanagement of it. And the rest of the world, I think, is fed up. So this is why you need to be a contrarian. This is why you need to mitigate your exposure to the dollar right now. The rest of the world is doing it.
So let me just summarize really quickly. 1944, after the end of World War II, America got everything, including the designation of the reserve currency of the world, which the dollar was supposed to be backed by gold. So that was 44. Then 64, they started printing fake silver dollars and fake dimes. That was Gresham's law. When fake money enters the system, good money goes into hiding, except poor people like my mom and dad spent it. They don't know what money is. My dad's a PhD, part has a PhD. So that was 64. Then 74, we become OPEC's trading partner. Anyway, I want to thank you. I want to encourage everybody listening to this program. This is Rich Dad's World. I want to thank Andy for his generosity of time and his education. But the man is for real. Like I said, I ordered from him to test him. When my dealer said they couldn't get it, he ships 133 pounds of silver to my company. So they're now believers in this stuff, because they were, Rich Dad Poor Dad said, savers are losers. Your house is not an asset, and the rich don't work for money. Rich work for assets, real assets. So I would suggest everybody watch this video one more time, because that was a ton of information coming at you from Andy Schectman here. And then if you have friends and family, listen to this also. because, many people, your biggest asset may be your family. But when the dollar collapses, they could be the biggest liability you have. So that's why we have Rich Dad's World, and we're a financial education company. I make no money selling gold and silver. We sell financial education and coaching services. That's why in my gym outfit to practice what I preach in. So Andy, thank you very much. Your wealth of information is priceless, 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 priceless. And it's for me to get to know you. Thank you, Robert.
Robert, thank you for having me. It's such a joy, such an honor to hear such nice words from you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, how excited I will be to come back whenever you need.
This podcast is a presentation of Rich Dad Media Network.